So we're here at Phoenix, and I've invited one of my favourite clients to pop in and share her story. Everyone meet Talitha.
Hello.
Talitha, we had a gorgeous time working through some issues that you've had quite a journey in the last 12 months, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So I'd love you to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you were dealing with and what it was like before you came to see me.
Yeah. I had a few personal issues happen while I was pregnant with my second daughter. I just finished a uni degree and had been looking after my 1-year-old while my partner had been travelling, so I was quite stressed and in a bit of a difficult place where I was feeling quite anxious all the time. Plus I had Hyperemesis Gravadarum through the second pregnancy, worse than my first pregnancy. I had decided that I'd gone to counselling, I was taking medication, but it was just getting too much, so I decided to come see Lynn and see if we could work through the different issues I was facing with anxiety, depression, my sickness with not being able to eat, food aversions, and then we just kind of worked from there.
And so you came to see me and we spent about an hour and a half together the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was it like after your first session? So we're back here after just a couple of minutes. Taya was really needing a feed and she's talking to Mummy as she's such a settled baby and quite gorgeous to have in the clinic. So we were talking about your first session and what was it like after that first session?
Yeah, after my first session, I was actually quite surprised with how well I connected. I woke up and I had tears running down my face and I hadn't even realised I was crying. But the amount of relief that I had felt was just incredible. I felt like so much burden that had been on my shoulders had just been released out. I was feeling good about myself. I ended up going home and sleeping 9 hours, and I haven't slept more than 2.5 to 3 hours since before I had my first daughter, who's 2. And it was just, I just felt so revitalised after that first session.
Beautiful. And then we saw each other a few times after that, and I remember your experience around food and the symptoms of HG just really were transformed.
Yeah. At the start, when I first started seeing Lynn, I was on quite a lot of medication, on Danzatron, rest of it, to keep my nausea and my vomiting at bay. I'd go days without eating and I'd usually have to be hospitalised and get a fluid line in. But yeah, after I think my third session, I started gaining weight, and within the first 2 months, I'd gained 6 kilos over my pre-baby weight, and that was at 7.5 months pregnant. So yeah, I saw Lynn first at, I think I was 6.5 months pregnant, and I was on my pre-baby weight at that stage. I've been trying to gain weight and I just kept losing it, and then I'd try and build it back up and then I'd lose it again. But by the end of, by the time I gave birth to Taya and after I'd been seeing Lynn, I'd put on 12 kg and I was able to eat and my nausea had disappeared without having to take medication, which even with the medication I still felt quite sick. And I truly believe it was to do with coming and having sessions and just the amount of anxiety that had gone away, my stress that had gone away was just...
Yeah, beautiful. You truly were glowing, weren't you?
It
Which was
my life.
unexpected. And so then we prepared for the birth.
Yes.
Yes.
With my first birth, it was 12 hours. It was, I wouldn't say traumatic, but it was scary. I didn't know what was going to happen. Labour wasn't what I expected. And afterwards, I had felt quite vulnerable and like I didn't have control in my birth. I didn't have control in how my body was afterwards. Lynn walked through different breathing techniques with me, and with this birth it went 3 hours. It was a quiet birth. I didn't have any lights on. No one was talking. I didn't talk, and I gave birth by a torchlight in the hospital, and it was just really peaceful. I was just listening to my body and working through steps that we had gone through, with listening to where my pain was. And afterwards I just felt like my body bounced back within the first few days. Like the morning after, I was up and about doing stuff. I went home and cooked a roast in the afternoon. So yeah, I just felt like me, and it was just the complete opposite. I didn't feel like me for nearly a year and a half after I had my first daughter, and it just...
So you truly experienced a natural process.
A natural process of me just listening to my body. No one else interfered. No one touched me. No one talked. It was just about me listening to my body and making sure that I wasn't going against what was naturally going to happen, and just feeling like I was in control of my body. I could understand my body and know what was going to happen.
Beautiful. And what would you say, Talitha, to others who are experiencing any anxiety, and especially the HG, of course, the hyperemesis, but really, you know, the concerns about the pregnancy and the birth?
Yeah. I had seen counsellors and social workers beforehand, and talking it through did help, but after coming for some sessions, it was like something had clicked and I just felt in control, and that I could do better with myself. It wasn't... It's hard to explain, but I felt, in control of my body, my mind, and everything that surrounded that.
Would it be fair to say that you were empowered to respect and honour the process, and you got to say how it was?
Yes, that is exactly it. Before, I didn't feel like I had words before about understanding and controlling my body and my mind, and now I've worked through the ways of being able to go, okay, recognise if something's wrong and follow through with how can I fix that.
And obviously you've got a beautiful, calm baby there too as a result.
A very happy little girl. One of my biggest fears while I was pregnant with her was how she was going to be, because I know babies can feel how you're feeling. And I was worried that she was going to be quite sad and stressed and an upset baby. But she is so much happier than my first daughter, and she's just always smiling. And I think her first smile was at 3 days old, and it was a proper happy smile. And I was worried that she wasn't going to be healthy because of all the medication I was on, and because I wasn't eating for the first 7 and a bit months. But as you can see, she's a very happy
Beautiful.
and big girl.
Thanks so much for sharing.
That's okay, thank you.